Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Forbidden History Live, and I am your host, Dezert-Owl, a bird who sees in the night. Hope everybody's doing well out there. I've actually got to log in right now, and there we go. Look at that work of the engineer. I can't get over it. And we got Lynn Mitzi saying, "Can I call in, or rather, can you call me tonight?" Yeah, let me tell her. Give me the number. So we're just not doing the professional radio program. We are the realpublicradio.net. So yeah, we can do all things. Let me just tell her, give me your number. We got volunteer callers. I love it. Okay, so because you never know what we can talk about. We could, yes. And what beautiful graphics. The barn owl. You are tuned in to. You are tuned in into. No, you're not. It's tuned into Forbidden History Live. But that's okay. So they get it. And hosted by Dezert-Owl. Okay, so yeah, we have engineers working now. And well, we're going to have a couple more programs. I hope. We got two that are producing, and we hope to have some more. And so let me write this number down to to get it. And forgive me, we're just ramping up our broadcast, and we're doing it on a song, a wing, and a prayer. And of course, you are our prayer, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you for your support. And want to welcome any new listeners that are just tuned in. We're about ready to go, and I should have got this text before the program, but that's okay because we are the realpublicradio.net. Go check out the Radio Museum that I've had for the last 15 years or so, and it'll be quite an eyeful for you. 200 plus pages, and a lot more. Okay, yeah. So stand by for the broadcast, because hidden beneath the sands of time lies the greatest of all mysteries. It's the forbidden history. Unearth for yourself the secret truths that lie hidden just beneath the surface below our feet. What is it that the powers that be do not want you or I to know? Come and journey with us as we explore and dare to know, because it's all right here, coming your way. Sundays and Wednesdays and Fridays right now. Just check out the times on the Forbidden History Chronicles with Ninja Cat 111, and also the Forbidden History Live you're tuned into right now. Okay, so we got broadcasting, and we hope to do more uh, in the days ahead. Okay, while they're kicking me out on the street, the Masonic disorder has looks like they bought the house out from under me, and therefore now they've raised the rent above what I can pay. So they figured out a plan to get rid of me. So we do need your support, and after you hear the broadcast, I hope that you'll find this worthy of your support. Tune in every Wednesday and Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time for the Forbidden History Chronicles with Ninja Cat 111 and Desert Owl. Okay, and you have to split Ninja. I think Ninja Cat's one word, but there's I think it comes up anyway. Really, it doesn't matter if there's a space or not. So that's great, Shelley. What fantastic work you do. I knew she was good, but geez, I didn't know she was going to be this good. So, and want to welcome everybody out there. I know we've got you on the chat and some people listening in, and so 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 how's your world, ladies and gentlemen? Is your world okay? Are you happy with the cards that you have been dealt with? And is your world okay? How do you rate it? A 10? A 10 is as good as it can get, or maybe it's a minus 10. When you realize that they're looks like they're ready to reel it in. That's what it looks like. We're about to have absolute chaos on planet Earth. All the vegetation is dying around the world. The animals. If you listen to Dane Wigington, Dane Wigington is his YouTube channel for geoengineeringwatch.org. We find out that like 90% of the animals, excuse me, the die-offs. What do you want to call it? Insects, and the mammals, and the sea life, all dying. Okay, all of it. And so what are we going to do? We going to recognize the truth that this is not our world, and that's the good news. That we were brought here to learn something, to discover something about who we really are, and then to say, okay, Great. Be set free. Be set free from this beast system, and so that's what we need to do. I have to, Shelley. I have to do one thing. So can you put on some music? I just need 90 seconds, basically. Okay, and then I'll be good. So she's quick on the pictures. Let's see how she's doing on that audio. I gotta undo it to hear it. Let me know when music is off. I can't hear it because I've had to mute it. So just say good in my head. Good. Thank you. And some people stumble through life, and I stumble through radio, ladies and gentlemen. What can I tell you? I've been doing this for 30 years off and on, and started as a political activist and got caught up in the drama of the grand illusion, and then finally learned the truth. And so that's the good news, that we can wake up to the truth. And before I get into my presentation, I think I'd like to bring Lynn Mitzi on, because she's made an offer to call in. So let me see here. Can I call in, or rather, can you call me tonight? So so let me go ahead and call in. And Mr. On the program this morning. Didn't know if I was going to be good. I didn't know if my voice was going to come back. It's doing pretty good right now. I've got some wonderful ginger root tea, and let me key this up for Lynn here. So, what am I doing? I just called her? I guess I just did without dialing it. That's pretty cool. Don't know what I'm doing sometimes on these phones. All right, let's see if we get Lynn here. Hi, Lynn. I'm doing okay, considering the state of the world. A lot of people starving to death, and we still have food on the table, roof over the head, and and are still functioning rather normally, able to take showers and do all that stuff. So we know all this will change real soon for all of us, and if we don't starve to death, they've got a guillotine waiting for us. So who could ask for a better deal, right?
It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah. Welcome to Club Fed. Yeah.
So I was listening to the replay of this afternoon's program, and you were reading from Lamsa. How do we get Lamsa?
Okay. You want to go to where there's two places, actually. I recommend going to artisanpublishers.com. Artisanpublishers.com. Because they're friends, and thank you for putting that putting that pic. Boy, she's quick. She's already got the picture of Lamsa good to go. It's called the Pashita. It's he doesn't have that on the label there, but the newer version, the newer product that they have, it's a paperback. It's not hardcover. They stopped doing the hardcover, but it's called the Pashita, Peshitta, which means the pure, the simple, the clear interpretation and meaning, the pure. So you go to artisanpublishers.com, and that you can see a copy of it there. And it's basically, you may find a used one on Amazon. Of course, if you want to get a used one, anybody, that's toughing it out financially, then, check for the used copies. But yeah, get Lamsa. Lamsa, the Pashita, the Old Covenant and the New Covenant is the most important from the Eastern, because it is the most complete version that we get. There, maybe one other, but I found out the one other is under the control of the Jewish conspiracy, and they're every other word in there. They're saying Torah, 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 Bulba, and so it's clear that this one that came out of Israel, the pseudo-Israel, is has the Zionist front is behind it, because they don't like, those any of the so-called Jews, or whatever that means to them, being converted. So they're going to control them in, the beast system, just like our Vatican controls Christianity situation. So yeah, George Lamsa. The thing is, when he came to America in the 1930s, then when they saw his translation of the scriptures, they told him they couldn't print it. They said, "John, I'm sorry, George, we can't print this one here in America, okay?" And obviously, the main reason was because it was more pure, and therefore just literally destroyed the the classic King James piece of garbage. And so occult ritual, stolen from Tyndale. It was good when it was pure Tyndale, but after they put their occultic fingerprints all over it, then acknowledged to have over 20,000 outright mistakes, and it's a whole lot more than that. We even have to talk about the control of words. But in spite of that, the Lamsa said, "Okay, make the changes." So they made changes. So you can see that it has a very similar a flow with the King James, some places verbatim, but at the same time they lift in a lot of of the Aramaic element in there, and so it's a mix. And I've now compared it with Fenton, for our Fenton, which is the best translation out of the Greek from 1905 for our Fenton. But when there is a question, like Fenton seems a little hard to wrap your mind around, so to speak. The particular verse, like it's you're thinking, okay, it's something lacking here or something. Then you compare Lamsa, and Lamsa usually has it. And so when you compare for our Fenton and Lamsa together, read them side by side. Thank you, Shelley. Then you've got this is becoming a real educational forum here. I can't get over it. Shelley gives me the graphics, like how does she do this stuff? So Lamsa and Fenton together, when they're compared, is as close to going back in time to the original scriptures that we can do. And so when I do the original thought transliteration project version, the OTTP, then I will be predominantly comparing Lamsa and Fenton, of course, with 20 other versions that I have of other experts that had a unique perspective, like Young from the 1800s, who also gave us Young's Concordance, and then some independent people like the Five Books of Moses out of Australia. These guys did a fantastic work out of the Aramaic. So artisanpublishers.com, Lynn, and highly recommend it. Before they're gone, what they're doing now is they're hacking on Amazon all the Christian writings. They're not publishing them again, and the ones that are remaining and available, they're jumping them to like $40 a book, $50, $100. Even this one I've got, which is the Gospel of the Perfect Life, also known as the Gospel of the Holy 12, is now $1,000, a paperback, small paperback book. So it's time to get the books before our money goes further down in value, and the book prices keep going up. So way to go, Lynn. I'm surprised you didn't have it already, but at least you're getting it. Were you able to get Fenton?
No, I haven't. I don't know how to work my phone to get anything. So
I see. Oh, okay. Well, all right. So Fenton is also available at Artisan Publishers. Do you want their phone number?
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah.
Let me pull the number here. Hang on. I pulled you away from the mic. I got to keep that mic right up to the phone, and when you're talking. So hold on a second, and let me get that. And there's also a link in the description. Artisan Publishers out of Muskogee, Oklahoma, is 918-682-8341. That's 918-682-8341. Okay. And tell them I sent you. Say Dezert-Owl sent you, and I've been dealing with them for 20 years, give or take. Okay, for since last century, and they got all of the works by Raymond Capp. Raymond Capp passed away, but did a lot of the work. He discovered the Book of Jasher. He did the Great Pyramid Decoded. He did all these different books that when he was now too old to be involved with it anymore, gave it all to Raymond Lynn Hoffman at Hoffman Publishing. So they now have their subsidy, artisanpublishers.com, and those people are doing great work. So check out their entire catalog. It'll just blow your mind. A lot of lost writings there. Okay, the Book of Enoch and a whole lot more. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Fabulous. Thank you, Desert.
You're welcome. And how and I keep you in prayer. Also for your son and his situation, and I hope that's you probably don't want to talk about that on the program, but I know you're going through some stuff. So just everything tests us. Your son is being tested, and it's to bring us to the next level. So certainly, with I would highly recommend with Artisan Publishers, get him some of those paperback books. That would be good for him. I when I went through my ordeal, where I got the record for the longest case in West Virginia's history, I read the scriptures. I got I don't know 10 years of reading in 2.5 years. I just crammed and became a monk, and so that's what we have to do. Life is always going to be a test,
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Yeah. So.
Thank you.
And yeah, and and you want to tell that story real quick about how you had to wake up on an airline? The jet airline was the thing that got you looking up to the skies?
That was awesome. That was just so crazy. I was flying. I was probably over Chicago area, and I looked out the window, and I saw 3 suns. I knew I should see 2 because of the double-paned window, but I wasn't sure about 3. So I got the camera out, we took a picture, and the captain come over the loudspeaker, says, put all your devices away, we're experiencing turbulence. Now I'm taking the video, it's a bluebird day, there is no cloud, there is no turbulence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he was saying, if your neighbor isn't in compliance, please say something. And I thought, well, now that's very strange.
Yeah. Yeah. So, wow. So you then that got you just researching the sky phenomena. Basically, is that what happened then?
I started looking at everything. Yes, I'm like, oh, this is not.
Yeah.
As it seems.
Yeah. 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 So anyway, yeah, we all have our moment of waking up. Something does it for us, and then we all find ourselves here on the internet, staying up late at night and unable to sleep anymore or whatever. It's a crazy world. So okay. Anything else on your end?
No, Desert. Thanks so much.
Wait a minute.
Love you all.
Wait a minute. You had blue snow just a couple weeks ago, didn't you?
Know what that was? That was windshield wiper fluid.
Oh, it was windshield. Oh, good to hear that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well,
I panicked. I went live.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's natural now. You know that everything is just not normal, so you don't expect the logical, phenomenon. But there was a guy I just saw yesterday. I think it was in the Middle East, and they had rain, and after the rain dried into like powder on the windshield, and he scraped the powder together. That was from the dried rain, and he got a magnet, and all of this powder immediately stuck to the magnet. It was metal shavings, metal particles that had fallen out of the sky. So they're also putting metallics in the air, which obviously would be bad to breathe in as well.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. So we got to wear a gas mask outside anymore, basically. It's have an air purifier inside. It's just really amazing. So, okay, well, Lynn, thank you so much for reaching out and touching us, and I wish you all the best. Okay.
Thank you. Love to you all too.
All right, missed you today, but glad you're on here this evening, and I'll see you on the chat. Peace and love.
Okay.
All right.
I'll
Bye
be
bye.
back in a minute.
All right. Bye bye. Okay, that was Lynn Mitzi, and one of the Sky Watchers I hooked up with last year with a number of them, like Ninja Cat, and okay, it's good to have hear from somebody. And don't forget, you can also text me if you want me to. Oh, call. No, actually, you can call. I'm not on with Ninja. I'm not doing the three-way, so you can call direct. Okay, if you want to talk, 608-566-7295, 608-566-7295. Have a comment, question, complaint, observation, whatever. Okay, want to do an audio check, just reach out. Or you can call the Skype. Skype is Forbidden History Live. Okay, do a search for Forbidden History Live. You should see it's in California, and then our engineer will accept you, and after you request to be added, and then we can talk to you on the broadcast. Okay, so love to hear from you, and I really, as I've said before, I've pretty well answered all my questions. Okay, I know too much, and I want to go to sleep now. But instead, I'm gonna have to learn how to deal with all of this. And one thing, of course, is to share what I've learned. So I've got quite a background in research, especially the Forbidden History and the ancient scriptures and our scriptural tradition, but also, of course, in a lot of the political. And I even had 2 health programs. Okay, I had the Ultimate Health Breakthrough and the Inside View on Health. I did CPS issues on child kidnapping by the criminal government agencies, tied in Australia and Canada and America all at the same time, and even some other European countries as well. And we're showing that what's happening in one nation, happening in the other corporation as well. So it's a very tragic world we have. So I want to get into the books here. If nobody has any follow up or wants to talk, let me just get a little bit more light here. Let me see. Am this going to work? And hope everybody's doing okay out there. It's a lot of suffering going on, and that's the thing that is so so tragic to see people in our world, becoming victims of the beast system. It's a beast, once a beast, always a beast. They've been suffering for thousands of years at the hands of the beast. And just taking a sip of my tea there. Okay, so in the end, then when I got into political activism, I was being offered radio time. I was being interviewed, and I was offered my own program. And my first program was when I had United Truckers Defending the Constitution. I created a Sunday program thanks to Jeff Baker out of Tampa, Florida, Marinet Broadcasting on international shortwave and also on satellite, and may have been on the internet. I don't know if at that time we were streaming. And then my program for Sundays was called America's Driving Force. And I was doing crisscrossing the country as a commercial tourist in an 18-wheeler. And I would do the radio program on Sundays from truck stops. They always had a phone, wherever you had dinner, and they had a phone. And all of a sudden, everybody in the restaurant started leaning towards me while I was talking for 1 hour on the broadcast, And so it was rather interesting. And then had to keep my voice down, try to, and then I sometimes I did it from a phone booth, standing in a phone booth in the middle of Wyoming or somewhere like that. And if I got lucky, I got a hotel room in advance, got a pizza and a 6-pack of beer, and then I was just sitting up in bed and talking to the world. So it was quite an experience, and I was doing a survey and taking the pulse of the nation and trying to figure things out. So that's when I learned that when I had United Truckers Defending the Constitution was apparently irrelevant. Discovered that, and it was a real wake up. And then I said, okay, well, the good news is we've got our spiritual truth. And so it's really about the spirit of life, and that is the what we really are. This is the illusion. That which has a beginning has an end, and so it was predetermined when you came into this world. You're not hanging around very long, and so it's to come to terms with the spirit that is eternal. The spirit is eternal, so we have to sow to the spirit, as the scriptures say, and therefore we can reap life in a day without end. Okay. So let's do it. Okay. And I'm in the book, the Dictionary of All Scriptures and Myths by Gaskell, on the definition for salvation, which correctly is soul novation, meaning becoming a new star. That's what he told Abraham, that you'll have two types of seed coming from you, and one of them will be like the spirit, which means they will be like the stars of heaven. And that is the soul novation, becoming new stars. Thank you, engineer. And soul novation, salvation, a symbol of the liberation of the soul from the lower nature, preceded by the process of purification through suffering and blindness during the cycle of evolution. But Moeshiach, Christ, is entered into the throne of the sun itself, ruling, now to appear in the presence of Yahweh for us, nor yet that he should offer himself often, for then must he often have suffered from the foundation of the world. But now once in the end of time, at the end of time, which is what happened 2,000 years ago, time stopped and it became a day without end, and we have to flow into it. So at the end of time had he appeared to put away blindness. And of course in Hebrews, was it chapter 9, verse 26, I think, and it says that at the end of the world he came. So it was called the end of the world also, of course, but it was the end of time because everybody that is still in the lower world is in the outer darkness. This is part of the duality, the great mystery. Okay, so at the end of time he appeared to put away blindness by the sacrifice of himself, and as it is appointed unto Ashan, unto men to die, but after this, the focusing of light. So, and that's what we have to do, focus light. That's the word judgment in the original thought. So the Moeshiach was once offered to bear the blindness of many, and unto them that look for him shall he appear the second time, without sin unto salvation. Listen to the scripture. And unto them that look for him. So you have to be looking for him. Will he appear in the second time? How? As spirit. That's the second coming that continues to flow since he rose from the dead. You see? That's the second coming. Unto them that look for him. You have to look for him if you want to see him and experience his second coming, because everybody thinks he's coming down as Santa Claus or something, or as what did he mean? He's going to come back in the flesh? No. What are you talking about? He rose from the dead. Can there be a better comeback? I call him the comeback kid. He rose from the dead, and then when he's being taken up from the mountain in Galilee, what does he tell his buddies? I am with you always, even unto the end of the earth. I am with you always. So you telling me, somebody out there telling me that he's not here and he's got to come back still? You know? What better comeback can there be? He said, as I'm with you always. So this is how the beast system got into everybody's brain and got them to look for something that already occurred. And he comes to those who look for him, and he appears the second time without sin or without blindness, because you purified yourself. He will then appear to you by spirit unto soul novation. Wow, what a victory of light. That's Hebrews 9:24. 24 through 28. Okay, so I got to do one thing. Stand by. Shelley, you sing.
Echo, echo, echo. Can you hear me now? Am I echoing out there?
Were you talking to me?
Talking to everybody.
Okay. I heard you talking. You're supposed to be singing, but what were you saying?
No. I can make a joyful noise.
Oh, okay. So you were covering for me. Well, great, thank you. Now I got, it's like hot and cold in here, and I just can't get adjusted. And so we're having an ice nucleation special of course, by the government. And so the last couple of days have been hitting up the continent, as you may have noticed. In particular, it all flows to the east. So it's been colder than normal, and it should be a little bit warmer, and it's just not happening because we would, I guess, be frying. We would all be frying, and so they're doing everything they can to put particles in the atmosphere, and so we're really in trouble. It's an amazing time we're in. So that's why we're here, because we want to give people the good news that you can look forward to leaving this dirty, rotten place and being somewhere better. Okay, so that's what we're hashing out here, and so thank you for covering, Shelley. And so the higher self, the Moeshiach, during the process of involution, commences its evolution in the higher mind, the soul center, and so forms the germ soul. This spiritual evolution proceeds upwards and prepares the patterns on the higher planes, which, when the lower evolution is begun, are capable of being reflected downwards on the lower planes, where they become distorted beyond recognition, owing to the fact that they do not appear in sequential or coherent form in the evolving souls of humanity. So it is that the Moeshiach, the Christ, enters into the sun, the throne of the sun, and stands in the presence of the Supreme, while below at the foundation of the world. And to show you that he actually stands in the sun, let me show you where it is at the end of our book in Revelations, okay? And because it's we have such a hard time making the connections. Let me see if I can find it quick enough. Okay, in the holy city. And this thing's created in the judgments, true. Second time, just, when I, see, that's verse 21. I know I marked it in one of my books. It should be here, and I'm not able to find it quick enough, I think. Let me look at chapter 18. Oh, wait a minute. Here it is. Okay, it's chapter 19, verse 17. And I saw a royal Malak, right in here, falsely called angel. It's a royal Malak. And I saw the royal Malak standing in the sun, S-U-N, standing in the sun. And he cried out with a loud voice, breathing to all of the birds that fly in the center of the sky. Come and gather yourselves together for the great supper of the shofar of the great Elohim. So you see, we are the birds who are flying in the sky. We are looking for the truth. You see, and he's seated in the throne of the sun. It says here standing, and that's probably what he saw, was that he got off the throne and was standing, and he saw the image in the sun of his elder brother, the great Elohim, Yahweh, Yeshua. The Father and the Son are one. The great Spirit ruling from the throne, even though he's in all places at all time, and sees all things. Okay, so that's chapter 19, verse 17. And they've corrupted these, of course. If we had the originals, it would really be blowing our mind, And so we're so fortunate they left that remnant in there. That's, of course, in Lamsa, but you can still see it in the Greek, from the Greek format, and that is from Aramaic, of course. But we've got to realize that the way we have been indoctrinated, that's the word, the way we have been indoctrinated, we don't get the light. We think that the sun is somehow irrelevant to the story, and the sun is the central point of the story. The light, let there be light. Yochelleg, there you go, let there be light. So it is that the Moeshiach, Christ, enters into the throne of the sun and stands in the presence of the Supreme, Yahweh, while below at the foundation of the world, in the lower Genun, the lower garden at high noon, and at the end of the age of involution, he is the lamb that is and he's really the ram. He's not the lamb, he's the ram that is slain. He pretended to be a lamb, but he was a ram. Look at that. Let there be light. Wow. This is too. I'm pinching myself now. I got to tell you. Um, and so let me read this again if I can. While below at the foundation of the world, since the foundation of the world, and at the end of time, that's what it is. At the end of time of involution, he became the ram slain, the Zavram. That's where we get the word sovereign from. The Zavram, the divine sacrifice, the archetypal Eshan, the blood of the earth, man, who dies once in order that the many souls, that's shuls, who are his limbs, we are his eyes, we are his hands, we are his feet, his members, must evolve from the darkness and the sorrow and finally be washed in the blood of the Zavram. That is, be purified by the divine life, which wells up within the shul, within the soul. When the Moeshiach, Christ, does appear at the second time, when you are ready, it will be in the illuminated souls of the Zain, the anointed ones, waiting the final deliverance. Lazar, come forth, which is the union of the lower self with the higher, or the marriage of the Zavram, the marriage of the lamb, falsely called lamb, the ram, the Zavram, the Avram, the star ram. He's the star ram. Okay? The logo, the sun is his symbol. What better symbol can you have than a sun? If then deliverance be based at once on time, on the I was looking at my note here, because he has already come back. Yeah, he came. I mentioned that already. So he's the comeback kid. If then deliverance be based at one time on the conquest of all desire, and at another on the knowledge of the Zavram, both may be regarded merely as the expression of one and the same thought. If then the deliverance be based at one time on the conquest of all desire, and at another on the gaining of the knowledge, the key knowledge, the keno, the volcano knowledge, the infinite flowing reservoir of enlightenment of the Zavram, both may be then regarded merely as the expression of one and the same thought. What keeps the shul, the soul, bound in the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth? Well, the answer is desire and ignorance. That's the never-ending roller coaster. Okay? I can't imagine what it would be like not to know, who I am, or where I am, or why I am, or just sitting on a couch watching the boob tube. What a curse that would be. And so I'm so grateful for what I know, and yet I'm not done. I'm in the race, and the beauty is, Paul said that this is the race that everybody can win. There's not like the other race where there's only one winner. Everybody can cross the finish line and be the winner. And that's what we need to do, ladies and gentlemen. We need to put on that, those tennis shoes. Thank you so much, Shelley. Great presentation. And so of the two, the greater blindness is ignorance. Okay, that's the greater blindness, ignorance. The first link in the long chain of causes and effects in which the sorrow working destiny of the world is fulfilled. And then there is no such thing as individual retribution or individual soul salvation for perfection or for corruption. The earthly race is a solidarity. We are all members one of another. We suffer and achieve in common. There is no star that does not imply willingness to share the blind's suffering. There is no suffering that is not a star in the making. The great Elohim and Yahweh have no interest in punishment as such, and no corrupt actor can bear his punishment alone. Indeed, there is no such thing as punishment in the sense that so much pain must be endured for so much blindness. R.J. Campbell. The way of the Moeshiach saves you is to take possession of your soul and conform it entirely to his own likeness. And this he cannot do until you yourself see what is needed. R.J. Campbell again. By the rituals of the law shall no living thing be justified. Soul novation is by the victory of light, a state of heart right with Yahweh. Soul novation is Yahweh's Esha Svare, the spirit in us, leading to perfection in all things. Destruction is the selfish spirit in us, leading us to wrong. The gift and the barokem for blessings, meaning the endowment, the enlightenment, and the separation of soul novation is primarily a spherical gift, a spiritual gift, and only involving outward consequences secondarily and subordinately. It mainly consists of the heart being at peace with Yahweh and the great Elohim, in the whole soul being filled with divine affections, in the weight and bondage of transgression being taken away and substituted by the impulse and the life of the new love. Therefore, neither Yahweh can give nor Eshan can receive that gift upon any other terms than just this, that the heart and nature be fitted and adapted for it when you are transformed, as you are transforming yourself. Spiritual endowment and enlightenment and separation, the barokem, require a spiritual capacity for the reception of them. Whereas my text says, you cannot have the inheritance unless you are sons. Okay? Cannot have the inheritance unless you are sons. So you transform yourself, you become a seed of light by looking at the seed of light and what the seed of light, Yeshua, has said and has done. It is putting on Yeshua, being buried in him, and then doing those things that he says. It's the great mystery, ladies and gentlemen. And so you just got a slice out of the dictionary of all scriptures and myths. Okay, wonderful book, and Shelley already put the picture up there so you can know what it looks like to get on the internet. Okay, and Shelley, if we can just go to a short break. Okay, 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, whatever you got, and then I'll be right back. And we've got more. We got symbolism, and we've got Lamsa on the New Testament and Old Testament light, defining the Eshavors that are at the Royal Center. Coming up next. You did tell your friends, right? And you are tuned in right here to Forbidden History Live 105. It's what they did want you to know that we tell. I guess I had to mute that out. I'll learn how to do this. Don't worry. Let me know when we're good, engineer.
We're good. We're good.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, we have to. I was enjoying the music, and then I heard myself talking to myself, so I can't do that. All right. I'll get it. All right. So I want to read a little bit of The Old Testament Light by George Lamsa. I can't get over it. I missed these books all these years. And so much is going to be defined in here. This was a miracle. This is how he made up for them smashing his translation from the East, the Peshitta, because he then he wrote 20 books. You know, he just I still think he should have published his original translation. I can't get over it. He didn't do that. You know, that's such a tragedy. What he brought to us was the big Kahuna, and they couldn't have it. So so I'm going to read just one slice out of this, and we'll go into the New Testament light, because we have to talk about the Eshavors, the royal center, the eye of the royal center, the Eshavors, and make sense out of the misconceptions. Okay, and that's what we're going to do. So eternity. In the beginning, Yochelleg, who is the great Elohim, created the sun, the Azor, and the earth. This should read, Yahweh created the sun and the earth in the very beginning. Yahweh is the subject of the sentence, and the sun and the earth are the objects. The author states that the sun and the earth and the stars and the moon were created from the very beginning. Of course, that's let there be light. That's what comes first. Yahweh alone can reveal to Eshan how and when the sun and the earth were made. That's right, he alone. Some scientists place the age of the earth at 4 billion years. Well, give or take, 3.5 billion, 4 billion, it's all the same to me. Humanly speaking, 4 billion years are an eternity from our standpoint, perhaps, but it's not the day without end, certainly. Many aspects of the creation will remain a secret, which man will never be able to unlock or reveal. But I got to tell you, I've got a pretty good fix on it. One day I'm going to have to share, because it goes back to the symbols. If you can read the symbols in the Vav, the VAV, the AV, okay, the sound waves, that's how it began when his thoughts were projecting, okay? And so humanly speaking, 4 billion years, many aspects of the creation will remain a secret, which man will never be able to unlock or reveal. Neither Yeshua, the Moeshiach, nor the Avrei, the star ray, Hebrew, star navigators, tried to explain the mystery of the creation, but they knew that Yahweh created them and that Yahweh can destroy anything at any time. And so there's a little slice on eternity from George Lamsa. And thank you, George. And I actually have a friend that knew him, and but we're all came into the world at different periods of time and didn't get to to cross paths, unfortunately. And I need to make a little room on my desk here for weeding. We are weeding, and got to pull those weeds, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we've got to do. And so we're in New Testament light, more light on the Gospels, Acts, the letters, Revelation, and in the introduction here. I'm just a little slice out of the introduction I read earlier. As we have said, Yeshua chose to use a simple and direct diction. Language, of course, is what they put in the canon to shoot at you, the language. So he used a simple and direct diction because the great majority of the people and his truth seekers, disciples, were simple people and slow in their reasoning or comprehension. These country peasants and fishermen were accustomed to the usage of idioms, metaphors, and maxims in order to comprehend the abstract terms of speech and the spiritual truths which were hidden from their eyes. Indeed, the style of the gospel in their original form have never been surpassed for their simplicity, clarity, and directness. It is even richer and clearer than if that of a star navigator prophet. Yeshua used parables, idioms, and metaphors because they were used daily by the provincial people and because they comprehended figures of speech much better. For instance, Yeshua breathed, "If your hand offend you, cut it off." This means if you are in the habit of stealing, cut it out, because it is better than losing other members of your body. In the East, even today, the hands of thieves are amputated, and the lips of noses of shoplifters are cut off. If your foot offends you, means if you are in the habit of trespassing on another man's vineyard or orchard, cut out the trespass. These idioms are well comprehended by Aramaic-speaking people. This is why in Aramaic, the Arab-speaking lands, no one has ever cut off his hand, plucked out his eye, or amputated his foot. But in other countries, countless thousands have committed injuries to their own bodies because they took these words literally. I've heard those stories myself. Likewise, it is also true that many of the American idioms, when taken literally by foreigners, are grossly miscomprehended. Like, for instance, he died on third base. He was a pickle for a year, in a pickle for a year. He was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. The ladies gave her a shower. He blew his top. What he said came out of the horse's mouth. And many other such American idioms should, of course, never be taken literally. My favorite is "I'm stiff as a board," like I'm really a 2x4, or a plank. One of the most difficult Eastern idioms to the American public, undoubtedly. Unless you eat the body, here we go. Unless you eat the body of the Son of Man, the seed of the sun, actually, that's how they reversed it. Unless you eat the body of the seed of the sun and drink his blood, you have no life in yourselves. John 6:53. Even some of the Judeans from the south who followed him and did not comprehend the Galilean dialect of Aramaic were puzzled by this statement and left him. They said, how could this Ashan give us his body to eat and his blood to drink? But what Yeshua meant was this: to eat of his teaching, his seed planting, and to make it a part of their lives and to suffer as he was going to suffer on the Croatia, the cross, for their sakes. We still say in Aramaic, he has eaten the book. I like that one, Shelley. He has eaten the book. The prophet Ezekiel was told to eat the book, which means to remember it by heart. Then, again, when people work hard or suffer, they say, I have eaten my body and drank my blood. I have eaten my father and mother. I have eaten my dead people. These sayings are so common in Aramaic speech that they are often heard in conversation. Yeshua likened himself to the lamb which the Judeans were going to eat on the Pesach, Passover day, and the blood of the lamb which spared the lives of their forefathers in Meitzar. It was symbolical of his body and blood, which were to be spiritually eaten and drank by his followers and to end to the end of time. Do this in remembrance of me. He did not literally mean that we should eat his body and drink his blood. The Judean law prohibited anyone from even touching the blood of a dead individual. How could Yeshua have meant for us to literally eat his body and drink his blood? Okay, so that's a little sample of that. And when we came back, I actually meant to just touch on the second coming again one more time. And it is most profound to show the mind control that even when Yeshua came back from the dead, which fits the entire theme within the scriptures about the second born, that we have to become the second born. And so he was, in essence, when he rose from the dead, he was born again. He came back a second born for a second time, and to show that he conquered death, and that he revealed the immortal nature that is hiding within us. And so to realize that nobody gets that he came back is an amazing statement as to how the mind control really works. And they're saying, yeah, I know he's coming back one day, they talked about it 2,000 years ago in our scriptures, right? About his second coming, that when you have prepared yourself, then he will come quickly. It says he comes quickly. And so if in truth he didn't come back, then all of those people would have been like fools, right? Because they're all talking about he's coming quickly. He comes quickly. Prepare yourself like a bride. Put on Yeshua, and then that which comes will come, right? So it's just amazing what deception has occurred. Even like in this debate with the, I've been watching this special presentation by Adullam Films, and they're talking about the Westcott and Hort work and the Sinaiticus and Vaticanus Greek that they pulled together as being the most authoritative and the most ancient. And then, the people on the side of the King James with the Masoretic text, are all defending their King James. And the truth is both ends are corrupt, both ends. And anybody that would venture to look at it critically, but it's their, what we could call their sacred cow. They don't have anything else. That's how I felt in a way when I discovered that the U.S. Constitution was irrelevant when I had United Truckers defending the Constitution. Wait a minute, you mean the whole thing's a sham? Whoa, what do we got to stand on then? Well, who cares? It separates you from the world. That's the good news. It allowed me to realize that I was fighting for a dead dog. The dog looks, like people come in the house and your dead dog is laying there, and they say, "What's that?" Well, that's my dog. Okay. Well, do you think something's wrong with him? Well, no, my dog's always been acting like this. He just lays there. And unless you've seen a living dog, you wouldn't know the difference between a living dog and a dead dog. And so the point is that the people are ready to go after the Sinaiticus document, which I can fully comprehend the issue and the problem, but yet they're all waving the flag for the Masoretic text, which is run by Jewish banking and Kabbalism, and has given us a false or a corrupted text that's equally as corrupt as the Sinaitic works that came out of the 1800s. So you got two opposing sides, and both are in, have been fooled. Both sides have been fooled, and of course at the controllers in the middle are the Vatican agents, and so it's amazing, because nobody mentioned once ever the Aramaic. They didn't want to talk about the Aramaic, which is really where we have to go, to go back, because that which is first is superior. That which is first is primary. That which is first is original. So what else could we ask for? And so that's what we're, attempting to reveal here in the original thought of this presentation, ladies and gentlemen. We have to hear things we've never heard before, and to consider them seriously, because we, are being deceived wholesale. It said the beast system would deceive the entire world. What kind of, what part of entire world don't we get? They control all publishing. They control all media. They control the politicians. They control the Protestant traditions. They control all traditions, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so we're in a fix, and they're not going back, and so they don't want you to go back, and so we have to see and read it for ourselves. And so I'm attempting to share with you here on this broadcast what Yeshua has shared with me. I received, and I freely give of that, and hope to produce this work in writing. We've been attacked multiple times here in Millersburg, Ohio, by the secret societies, the Masons, and they run this town. And I moved into the wrong town. So if you want to help out, you can send a donation to contact@freeamericaradio.com. Contact@freeamericaradio.com, and that would be wonderful consideration. Okay, because you're not helping me. I surrendered to this from the beginning of my life, to do this work, to not be involved for the sake of monetary gain. I could have had a regular job. I had a house on a lake, with a canoe and a dock. I had all those things. I had paradise, but I knew that that wasn't the reality, that there was something greater. I didn't want the lower garden. I wanted, the truth and the true Ganun at high noon. And so so the light has been flowing for me, because I was willing to surrender and pay a price. Okay. And also there's a PayPal button on therealpublicradio.net, therealpublicradio.net, and you can find a PayPal button there. So thank you for your consideration. Want to welcome any new listeners here to the broadcast. And the land of, so we're in the New Testament light with Lamsa, and the land of Naphtali and Zebulun. The people which sat in darkness saw a great light. And what would be the symbol of that, by the way? What do you think? The sun? Perhaps so. The great logo in the sky. The people which sat in darkness saw the great light, not a great light, saw the great light. And to them which sat in the region of the shadow of death, the light has risen. Matthew 4:15-16. The reference here is to the commoners who dwelt in Galilee. Some of the ancestors of these people had been settled by the Assyrian kings in the land of Zebulun and Naphtali, the way of the sea, 721 BC, when the tribes of Yochelleg were carried captive to Assyria. Yeah, that's when the northern kingdom, the northern tribes, were banished forever. Okay, gone, zip, zilch, rejected. The light of the star message of Yeshua, the Moeshiach, shone first upon the Judeans, Galileans, and commoners, and then upon the other people of the world. The next definition is pure in heart. Endowed, enlightened, and separated, baruch, are the pure in heart, for they will see Yahweh, Matthew 5:8. And he said to be a separate people. Okay, so when even when we heard about Israel, they were told, you will be a separate people. You see, you can't be a part of this world. Okay, you have to separate yourself from the insanity, from the delusion, from the brain dead. You have to try to lift them up. You have to try to plant some seeds that maybe that Yeshua then can water it if you plant seeds correctly. But what does the dead have in common with the living? So the pure in heart in Aramaic means the pure in mind. The ancients followed that the heart was the thinking faculty of Ashan, man. That is to say that the Ashan, man, though thought through his heart, Then again, the heart is the organ through which all of the blood passes, and blood was regarded by the Euthanians as the secret of life. This is why the Euthanians refrained from eating and drinking blood and ate only kosher or bloodless meat. The mind must be pure from all impurities such as doubt, greed, and worldly aspirations in order to reflect Yahweh. Yahweh is the eternal Eshesphere, the spirit, light, life, and truth. Therefore, the Yahweh cannot be reflected in a mirror smeared with dirt. A telescopic mirror must be clear in order to reflect the stars, the planets, and the galaxies. The pure in heart are the pure and innocent Eshan and Vefe, or Eshafe, men and women, who never think of harming other people. They feel the presence of Yahweh constantly. They know that Yahweh is a perfect Yahweh, and that perfection cannot be reflected in corruption, nor corruption reflected in perfection. Just as light cannot mix with darkness, nor fire with water. Psalm 15:2. And then we have one more, the light of the world. You are the light of the world. A city that is set upon a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:14. Perfect Eshan, who are perfect in the flowing light. That's righteous. It's a code. They didn't want to, they couldn't literally transliterate it, the perfect in the flowing light. Come on. These priesthoods, that's why they created righteous. Isn't that righteous? Yeah, it's righteous. Righteous, boss. Yeah, like we use that word every day. No, it's perfect in the flowing light. The Eshan and the Eshaphe, who are perfect in the flowing light, are the light of the world. Why? They do not stumble, because the light of Yahweh directs their steps. Their path is a shining light. Proverbs 4:18. But the path of the Vaketh, the wicked, is darkness, and the way of the wicked is total darkness. They do not know at what they are stumbling over. Proverbs 4:19. Light is symbolic of Yahweh, and enlightenment is the fastest and most abundant element in the omniverse universe. The light. Yeshua is the light. Just as light fills the universe, so Yahweh's presence fills the entire space. Yahweh is called the light of the world. The Zorain. And Yeshua breathed, I am the Zorain, the light of the world. Mosheachim, Christians must manifest, correctly, Moesheachim. Moesheachim, also known as misnomered as Christians, must manifest the Zorain, the light of Yahweh, in order to be known as the seed of the sun. This light can be revealed by means of victory of light in Yahweh and in perfect works. The author of Proverbs tells us, but the path of the perfect in the flowing light is like the shining light that shines more and more toward that perfect day. Proverbs 4:18, Lamsa version. And so there's a little bit of light for you, ladies and gentlemen, and hope you enjoy that. And I'm going to take another sip of my tea to chase my throat. I had a good program today with Ninja Cat 111, and I know she's on here. I saw her earlier. Oh, there she is. Okay, with all of her hearts, and yeah. So we had a good program today. Go check it out, Ninja Cat 111, ladies and gentlemen. Today's broadcast, and stand by for a second. And there's so much ground to cover. I know one thing. I'm not going to run out of material, and I can do this every day, because the reservoir that we dip our cup in is so great. It will never It will never run dry. And there's a 1,000 ways to say the same thing in this arena of the cosmic truth. Let me get a little more light here. And we're in now. And of course, we do take callers. Okay, don't forget. You can call in at Forbidden History Live. Okay, Forbidden History Live. Or you can call in at 608-566-7295. 608-566-7295. And you have a comment or a question? And okay. And Shelley's having too much fun now. And so there, yeah, I'm getting distracted now. Okay. So we're in the book, The Aryan Origin of the Alphabet, disclosing the Sumer-O-Phoenician parentage of our letters, ancient and modern. And I'm like a kid in a candy store. We've had some wonderful donations of the key books that we needed, and as a result, learning stuff and sharing it right here for the first time on the broadcast, and I'm just getting confirmations of what I had been learning through Yeshua, what he reveals to me direct, through a long process of time, and what the problem is we're being lied to, and so somebody's covered the trail. This isn't an accident. This is by design, and so the first thing we have to know is that, hey, wait a minute, I think I'm being lied to. Whoa, what a revelation! Then once you know you're being lied to, then you can begin to unravel the mystery, because when we all come into the world, we're thinking, well, my preacher wouldn't lie to me. My teacher wouldn't lie to me. My politician wouldn't lie to me. My family wouldn't lie to me, right? Well, you tell me. Maybe everybody's parroting, what they also were told. They're parroting the lie. Your parents might not lie to you, but they might be parroting a lie. Did they introduce you to Santa Claus? I remember, it was the funniest thing. I remember, being taken to a department store during Christmas when I was like, 4 years old, and so, there's Santa Claus, and, my mom puts me on his lap, and he says, hey, what do you want for Christmas? And I'm right there, right in his face, and I'm looking at him in his beard, and I can tell that it's being held together by strings. And it was like, whoa, Santa Claus isn't real, And I got off his lap as quick as I could, and I didn't tell my mom. I didn't want to break her heart. The guy's a fraud, Mom. The guy's a fraud. He's got strings in his beard, This isn't real. So I just, I picked up on that right out there. And so this was like, part of my, my discovery process here. Okay, we're being lied to, same with Easter, and rather than the true nature of that time, which is, dealing with the Passover and the good news of the resurrection of Yeshua coming back, coming back from a second born and coming back a second time, instead we get Easter eggs and chocolate bunnies, and so we have to realize, so wait a minute, these things are all pagan, right? This was the reason Israel was destroyed by Yahweh and decimated, because they followed pagan traditions, right? And so are we following pagan traditions? Are we using pagan terms like Lord God? Who's Lord? In English, Middle English, that's our mother who gives us our bread. Who's our mother that gives us our bread? Well, when they go back into the Aramaic, they then supplemented it with Adonai, which correctly is Done, and Done or Donai is the rising sun. So there's the mother who gives us our bread, but Done backwards in the anagram is India. So she's wearing the mask, you see. India, running our world. Industry, Indus, see the word? Industry, India. The Indus Valley, where industry was initiated in the Sindh, the 5 rivers. Sindh, for closing the eyes, called the Sindh. I didn't even make that connection. The Sindh with a D on it, Sindh. The blindness of our fabricated world. Were the first games like dice and chess and other games were originated, not to mention the industry. Okay, so we're in the book, the alphabetic vowels and consonantal signs in Sumerian writing. When the Sumerian vowel and symbolic pictograms or word signs are arranged in alphabetical order, according to the universally recognized phonic value in Roman letters, that's the key, capital letters, as in the Sumerian lexicon of Prince, in the vocabularies of Langdon and Gad, and in my Sumerian dictionary, which is on its way, the other Sumerian dictionaries and glossaries in Roman transliteration being all arranged characteristically by their Assyriologist compilers in the order of the Hebrew alphabet. Apparently, on the anticipated notion, the antiquated notion, could you say prejudice? The antiquated notion that all languages were somehow derived from the Hebrew. That supposedly primordial speech of the garden of the Genun, of the atom, of the Eden, supposedly primordial speech of the Garden of Eden. It is seen that they all fall within our alphabetic system and form a complete alphabetic series from A to Z. See columns in plate 1 and 2. We'll have to get the graphic up. I'll get this to you, engineer, so we can get these charts up. That'd be a good idea. These 4 late ambiguous letters, I skipped a part, with the exception of, see columns in plates 1 and 2, with the exception of the 4 late and ambiguous letters in our alphabet and the aspirated S. Okay? So they're showing that the Hebrew is being used as a control mechanism, right? And I said we got to get past the Hebrew and the Greek, go back to the Indo-Germanic, the mother tongue. All the European and Middle Eastern tongues predominantly are Indo-Germanic. Okay, but they've all gone in different directions. The royal eye of the vortex, the Eshavor. There you go. And these 4 late ambiguous letters are the redundant C, also absent in Phoenician. Of course, the C is doing business for the S, doing business for the G. Okay, is doing business for the K. Whoa, that's not supposed to happen. We're just supposed to be one sound, one letter. One sound, one letter. That's how it's supposed to be, and it shows the Babylon that they created for us. Okay, also absent in Phoenician and representing phonetically both K and S in particular, although deriving its form from the G. There you go, you see? And then J with the sound of G or GI or a soft G, a consonantal differentiation from I, sounded with the Y in the Teutonic. The I took away the Y. They taught us that in school. They said the vowels are A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y, which takes the place of the I. Whoa. Thank you for that clue. Okay. V, a late libel with the consonantal value of F, and we should not leave out P. Okay, and P as well. And used in the Latin script for the equivalent of U. Now I know everybody's getting confused, of which it is regarded as a consonantal form, in Y supposed to be introduced by later Greeks, the Grekas, the Gray, as an equivalent for U, and therefore properly a vowel, and in English confused with I. The letter F and O, we will see by the new analysts, appear to be represented in Sumerian, although not previously remarked. In the Sumerian writing, it will be seen from column 1 of the tablets, and I will get these graphics up for the next program so we can see these. I apologize. It will be seen from column 1 of the tables that the simplest vowel and syllabic word signs under each letter value in this alphabetic catalog consist of single vowels and single consonants, and each followed by a vowel that is absolutely necessary to sound the consonant. And it is from these simple consonantal signs, where in the consonant is followed by a vowel, that the alphabetic consonant letters are found to be derived. And I know that was a mouthful. This later feature now explains for the first time the inherent suffixed vowel in every consonant and in the Semitic, Phoenician, Hebrew, Sanskrit, and other allied Indo-Aryan alphabets, in that it was a feature of their parent script, the Sumerian. Well, see, this is where he's lost on the trail, because it didn't start with the Sumerian. They picked it up after the flood, but still the original alphabet was a code that was held secret, and that's why they made those funny little bird prints that they call Sumerian. It looks like a bird. Actually, they say it was inspired by the birds who were walking in the mud, and it's because they couldn't give us the real alphabet. It was a secret code of the fallen ones. It was the code that was breathed into Adam, the one that they used to build the pyramid civilizations around the world. It was their, and to do all of the business that they did in engineering the great structures and building the civilizations. So it was the priesthood's code. They're not going to give you their code. So they're going to create a secondary code. And it's what they did, And so continuing here. Okay, and that it was a feature of their parent script, Sumerian. For this example, the Sanskrit script writes the Aryan clan title Bharat or Briton as B''RT. There's the word Britain right there, okay? And it's Bharat, and that's that word we find in the Mahabharata, the Mahabharata or the Mahabharat. And it means be born of the creation, just as the later Phoenicians wrote it PRT. And the footnote on that is in the series with the ancient Greek spelling of Britain as Pretin, also with a P. Britain is Pretin. And okay, are we having an audio problem here? Engineer, how we doing? Shelley, I'm having to refresh because the wheel keeps spinning.
No, you sound good.
I'm sounding good, and you're still streaming then, right?
We're good. Yeah, we're good.
Thank you. Okay, so the short suffix being inherent in every consonant, the vowel and simple syllabic word signs in Sumerian now seem to be the parent of our alphabetic letters. Read, according to their transliteration into Roman letters, as reversed, universally accepted by Assyriologists. So what's beautiful is they gave us the Sumerian code, and they transferred it into the modern alphabet that we're using. So this is what's fantastic about this work. So as universally accepted by Assyriologists as follows: A for long A, Ba for or by, Da or do, E or E, Phi or Ga, Ha or Ka, I, Ka or Cat, La, and so on, and to Z and Za as seen in the tablets, plates 1 and 2. Yeah, and we'll try to get that next time. Looks like we've lost people because we were doing some buffering, and so sorry about that. This is the nature of this beast, that periodically stuff happens, right? And so yeah, let's Shelley, I don't know if you have your breaks timed or anything, but let's just I'm going to close with symbolism, but let's give people a moment to come back, and thank you that way, and good to have you. And so yeah, let's go to some music, and then we'll be back in about 3 minutes, okay, on the Forbidden History Live. What they didn't want you to know, but we tell right here, because somebody's got to do it. final segment on symbolism. That says "Stand by, Desert." Right back. That'd be a good one. Yeah. How are you? Forbidden History Live. How am I? Okay. I'm getting Skype from my engineer, and she's asking me how I'm doing. I don't know. You tell me. We're doing it. That's what we're doing. How are you? Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we're back. Are we good?
Yes, we're good.
Okay. Thank you. My friends, when we're in the military, and on Fort Riley, Kansas, and so I went there and built apartments on the Fort Riley military base. And my friends some of them were in the Army, in the engineers, and so whenever they'd salute their captain, they'd go, "In your ear, sir, in your ear." They would say they're engineers, but they'd go, "In your ear." They hated the Army, of course. So I get my engineer is in my ear all the time. That's what I was thinking about. She's an engineer and in my ear. So little word trickery there. So anyway, we're back, and want to welcome any new listeners here. We have to throw a little humor in during our psychopathic reality of our world going down, and hope that we can all transcend. We all truly want to live forever, don't we? We all want to breathe the pure air of enlightenment, and to realize that there's something greater than the hand that we've been dealt with down here. And so this is what we're attempting to do with the Forbidden History series, because we have been dealt a stinking hand. All right. We have been dealt with a game that we didn't create, we didn't want, and but yet we got it. We got it, and we're going to have to deal with it. That's all it comes down to. We're going to have to look for that light that shines. It's been shining all of our lives. We didn't recognize what it meant, and we received a false version for the true version. That's the Baskin Robbins. You name the flavor you want. You can have any flavor you want. You can have whatever you want. You want to. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I'm not gonna stretch that. But it says there's one Lord, one faith, one baptism. The question is, who is Lord? Is it the ball? The ball. Okay, and he's a Lord. In our scriptures, when what was one of the kings, was being told, okay, this, if you don't do this, this is going to happen. And so the king says, well, is there a priest of the Lord here? And he says, yeah. So what does the priest of the Lord say? And then he says again, is there another priest of the Lord? And so when you go back and look at the Hebrew, all of a sudden you find out that the one Lord was for Baal, and the other Lord was for Yahweh. But wait a minute. But in the King James and in the other versions, all they're doing is calling him Lord. So how do you know which Lord it's talking about? And it's not the original word anyway. It has no bearing on it. The word Lord is a code for the true red. And that's why that it also refers to then my sunrise. You are, so when somebody was calling the one that was superior to them Lord, they were saying my sunrise. Okay, meaning yes, you who provide, my earnings, my, or whatever. That's this is the way they spoke back then, and so it's not anything. It's not anything like we speak today. Okay, we're in another world, ladies and gentlemen, and it's like, okay, we could be Martians, because the way we speak today has no bearing on the original thought and the way they spoke. So I have three definitions I'm going to go over today. We have to get the picture. We have to, and yes, Shelley has lots of slides to make. Okay, and she's doing a great job. I can't get over it. Okay, so the first definition is crown, and crown. The essential meaning of the crown is derived from that of the head, with which it is linked, unlike the hat, not in a utilitarian, but in a strictly emblematic manner, by reference to level symbolism. We may conclude that the crown does not merely surmount the top of the body and of the earthly being as a whole, but rises above it and therefore symbolizes, in the broadest and deepest sense, the very idea of preeminence. Okay, the crown. That is why a superlatively successful achievement is spoken of as a crowning achievement. Hence, the crown is the visible sign of success, of crowning, whose significance reaches beyond the act of the individual who performed it. At first, crowns were made out of limbs of various trees. Hence, they are still connected with the symbolism of trees in the general and of some trees in particular. They were the attributes of the gods, or the Elohim. And they also were once a funeral symbol. The metal crown, the diadem of the crown of rays of light, are symbols of light and of spiritual enlightenment. In some books of alchemy, there are illustrations showing the planetary spirits receiving their crown, that is, their light, from the hand of their royal Malak, king. That is the sun, S-U-N, says it right here. Their king, that is the sun, okay? From the hands of their king, that is the sun. They're saying it here literally. I can't get over it. And to show you that they know the original thought, They're not spilling the beans, but they'll put it right in front of you and nobody will get it, The light they received from him, who? In the sun? Is not equal in intensity, but graded. Not equal in intensity, but graded, as it were, in hierarchies, corresponding to the grades of nobility ranging from the king down to the baron. Books on alchemy also stress the affirmative and subliminating sense of the crown. In Margarita Petriosa, the 6 base metals are first shown as slaves, with their uncovered heads bowed low toward the feet of the Malak, the king, that is gold. That's the king. That's the G on their ring, symbolizing geode and symbolizing gold for the sun. But after their transmutation, they are depicted wearing crowns on their head. This transmutation is a symbol of spiritual evolution, whose decisive characteristic is the victory of the higher principle over the base principle of the instincts. That is why Jung concludes that the radiant crown is the symbol par excellence of reaching the highest goal in evolution. For he who conquers himself wins the crown of life eternal in a day without end. Secondary or more particular means sometimes arise from the shape or the material of the crown, on occasion differing considerably from the basic meaning outlined above. The ancient crown of the Metzarem, Egyptian pharaohs, is a typical example of unusually shaped crowns with exceptional meanings. Marquet Revere here points to the emblematic and near figurative course of its two basic components, a white and red crown. The former is similar to the mitre-like bonnets worn in the East through the ages. The latter, according to the De Roquemanuitu, is probably a pattern evolved from adapted hieroglyphics. The coif is probably a glass, the curved stem of which represents vegetation, and the upright stem the ideogram of the earth. M.E. Solde sees the curved stem of a projection of the solar disk, a spiraling flame which fertilizes the seed. Next up is crucifixion. The symbolic meaning of the crucifixion, which does not oppose nor alter the historic fact. This guy's making a wonderful claim here, being a Jesuit. He's calling the crucifixion a historical fact. Excuse me, I had to take a sip here. Of course, now they are all deniers today, aren't they? Of course they are. Okay, I'm getting a buffer again, so I'm going to refresh. And just remember, if a buffer's on you, just refresh. Okay, crucifixion. So let me try this again. The symbolic meaning of the crucifixion, which does not oppose nor alter the historic fact, but provides further explanation of it, seems to be related to the suffering, which is at the root of all contradiction and ambivalence, especially if one bears in mind the practice in medieval iconography of showing Yeshua on the cross, on the curse, on the burning tree, on the Croatia, all of these terms apply, surrounded by symmetrical pairs of objects or beings. These paired items are sometimes, but not always, based upon the actual witnesses of the scene. Thus, the cross may be shown between the sun and the moon, between the Virgin and the anointed Yochelleg, John, the perfect and the corrupt thief, the lance and the cup or chalice, or sometimes a stick and the sponge soaked in vinegar. And of course, between heaven and earth, the sun and the earth, actually. On occasion, there is the added symbol of the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, the Eshesphire, of purity and enlightenment, balancing Adam's skull. These pairs of opposites, well, he was actually crucified by the skull, wasn't he? Right at the base of the skull. And skull means steer. So this symbolism then meant he was about to re-steer our world into another direction. These pairs of opposites then only serve to emphasize the essential binary system underlying the cross itself. The horizontal limbs corresponds to the passive principle, that is, to the world of phenomena. The vertical limb denotes the active principle, that is, the transcendent world or spiritual evolution. The sun and moon are the cosmic representatives of this dualism, echoed also by the symmetrical placing of the beloved disciple and the pure anointed mother of opposite sexes, who stand also respectively for the outcome and the antecedent of the life and work of Yeshua, and hence for the future and the past. The two thieves represent binary symmetry on the moral ethical plane, that is, the two potential attitudes between which Ashan, man, must choose: penitence leading to soul novation and prevarication leading to damnation. Okay, and so we got two more definitions, I believe, here. Let me see. And I want to welcome any new listeners to the Forbidden History Live. I'm your host, Dezert-Owl, and we're trying to bring some good news and all the bad news in our world today. And the good news is that you don't have to go to Baskin Robbins in order to get the right flavor, ladies and gentlemen. You just have to come right here, and it's what you're not going to get anywhere else. I can tell you that. And we go. It's a deep wick. It's a deep ocean, you know, and it's a deep cosmos. And the deepness is a direct correlation to the deepness of our message here, you know, because they got us on the surface, on the top of the cake, in the shallow bay, in the safe waters where there's nothing to worry about, you know, but we have to reach out further than we've ever gone before, and to see things we've never seen before, and in that is the enlightenment. Okay, we have to be deep thinkers, and the scripture says that where there is no vision, the people perish. Well, what are we talking about in symbolism? We're talking about getting the picture. Okay, getting the picture, and so we have to interpret pictures, and we will then be able to read the original thought because it's found within all of nature. Oh, Ninja's waiting to call in. Well, just call in, Ninja. You know, don't have to wait. Give me a break. Come on down, okay? Standing by. In the meantime, I will continue on the definition here until Ninja Cat from down under the no worry state calls in, okay? Star, as a light shining in the darkness, the star is a symbol of the spirit. And that's what we're supposed to be, stars. We were told we're supposed to be stars. Ninja, you're waiting on this end. What end? Well, anyway, just call as soon as you're ready, okay? As a light shining in the darkness, the star is a symbol of spirit. Bailey has pointed out, however, that the star very rarely carries a single meaning, obviously. And it is the letter A of the alphabet. It nearly always alludes to multiplicity, in which case it stands for the forces of the spirit struggling against the forces of darkness. This is a meaning which has been incorporated into emblematic art all over the world. For this reason, identification with the star is possible only to the chosen few. Right, only few of us will become stars, ladies and gentlemen. And that's why we have to give all of our effort, all of our energy onto the cause. Because it will be a miracle to be redeemed from this world. We don't just waltz and dance right in. Especially when you got 600 Baskin Robbins flavors, you know there's a problem when there's only one way. You know, and it's free from sin, and it is free from lies and deceit. The truth is not a part of any lie, and that is the litmus test. Okay, the litmus test is it is not a part of any lie, and it is possible to know that you know that you know. You can know, ladies and gentlemen. Jung recalls the Mithraic saying, "I am a star which goes with thee and shines out of the depths." Now, individual stars are often seen in graphic symbolism. Their meaning frequently depends upon their shape, the number of points, the manner of their arrangement, and their color, if any. The flaming star, or the sun, is a symbol of the mystic center. You better believe it. It's a solar system. All the planets are going around it. It's the mother star. The mystic center of the force of the universe in expansion. The five-pointed star is the most common as far back as in the days of the Mitzrayim hieroglyphics. It's signified rising upward toward the point of origin and formed part of such words as to bring up, to enlighten, the teacher, and so on. That's where we get the Zavram is the star ram, okay, and and Rabbi is actually royal star. You see, there's the terminologies right there in the original thought, where you don't get it anywhere else, and it will be in the original thought transliteration project for sure. inverted five-pointed star is a symbol of the infernal as used in black magic, and not to mention Baphomet, excuse me. Stars, one more. Stars being nocturnal, their symbolism is associated with that of night. They are also linked with the idea of multiplicity or with disintegration, because they appear in clusters and with order and destiny because of their disposition and location, according to Horapolus, Nilicius. Okay, and one more on star here. Okay, and star, these stars, ultimate meaning of the symbols. Okay, so so it refers to things that are irrelevant here, like the 17th enigma of the tarot, but yet the tarot is interesting to study because they are speaking truth even within the tarot. The tarot cards with the symbols. You have to interpret the symbols, of course, and that's what we're doing here. 17th enigma of the tarot, depicting an allegorical image of a naked girl kneeling down beside a pool, as from a golden jar. She pours a life-giving liquid into the still waters. In her left hand, she holds a silver jar from which she pours fresh water onto the dry earth, encouraging the growth of the vegetation, signified most often by a sprig of acacia and a rose in full bloom, an emblem of immortality and of love. Above this figure are a bright star and several lesser ones. The ultimate meaning of the symbol seems to be expressive of intercommunication of the different worlds, or the vitalization by the celestial luminaries of liquids contained in certain vessels, and implying, furthermore, the transference of these celestial characteristics to the purely material elements of earth and water. For this reason, Oswald Wirth concludes that the enigma represents the soul uniting spirit with matter. Okay, and so that's oh, I see. Okay, so Ninja's waiting on somebody, and just hang in there, Ninja. Okay, we hope we can get you. I'm gonna stretch the program a little longer here. We started at 8, and it's just almost 10. So okay, there are two paths to take, and only the few will take the right. Everybody else going to the left. Look at that. Great symbolism. Great symbolism. And yeah, never follow the crowd. If wherever the crowd goes, I'm going in the other direction, because I already figured out long time ago the crowd. It's the herd mentality. And they're good slaves. Just what? Look, can somebody give me a line to stand in? I need to stand in a line. Somebody, please. Stand over here. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Okay. And you're happy to stand in line. I can't get over it. Like, we look at this thing with after Thanksgiving, then they have what they call Black Friday. Wow. I can't get over this world. They're ready to mow each other down to get that special deal. I'll run people over just to get that special deal. It's like, what planet are we on? What planet are we on? Tell me. And let me take a sip of my throat tonic, and then we have one more definition, and hopefully Ninja will be able to call in. So we'll find out. All right. So caduceus, that's what we have left here, and then we'll be wrapping it up. Unless somebody wants to call in, then I'd be glad to take a call from you. Did I hear a caller? I thought I heard a caller. Okay, must be my imagination. And all right, caduceus. Caduceus, the wings symbolize transcendence. The air. By the way, just in case somebody is lost on the caduceus is, of course, what we think of as the medical staff. And there's the two serpents that go intertwining all the way up towards the winged orb at the top. But if you can imagine that the caduceus is actually laying down on the ground, and that the serpents are crawling on the ground towards a sunrise. Okay, and the wings of the sunrise are the red cherubims, the red fiery beams of the light in the coming through the dense atmosphere. Okay, and so, but yet, really, the truth is that the caduceus, which is claimed to be the medical staff, is actually the flight staff of the Aryans who flew their anti-gravity vimanos all around the world. It really represents the flight, the serpent in flight around the world. Okay, so that's part of the great mystery that they're not telling us, but you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so wings, the caduceus, the wings symbolize transcendence, the air. The wand, or that staff, is power. The double serpent is the opposites in dualism, ultimately to be united. They are also the two serpents of healing and poison, illness and health. They are hermetic and homeopathic. Nature can overcome nature. The complementary nature of the two forces operative in the universe and the union of the sexes. They represent the powers of binding and loosing, light and darkness, good and evil, fire and water, sun and moon, ascending and descending, also equilibrium, wisdom and fertility. In alchemy, they are the male sulfur and the female quicksilver. The power of transformation, sleeping and walking. The soul, the solve et coagula, the great work, the synthesis of opposites, and their transcendent function of meditation between the upper and the lower realms. The wand, or herald staff, is the axis mundi, up and down, which all mediator messenger gods travel between the sun and the earth. The caduceus is carried by messengers as a symbol of peace and protection, and is eminently their attribute. The Egyptian Anubis, the Greco-Roman Hermes or Mercury, the messenger, also a symbol of Yeshua, in whose hand it also depicts health and youthfulness. There's Eutha. The Phoenician Baal, and sometimes Isis and Ishtar all carry it. It is the golden rod, three-petaled, of happiness and wealth, Homer, and is also suggested as the staff supporting the sun and moon symbols. Well, I think it means columns. Columns, not staff, columns. There's a little code word going on there. And the columns, each column represent one the sun, one the moon. The caduceus can also be represented as a globe surmounted by horns, a Phoenician and Hittite solar symbol. It is also founded in India. You're kidding. It is the astronomical symbol of Hermes and Mercury. And it might be that we could also say, ladies and gentlemen, that the caduceus staff is also then symbolically the staff, which the terminology is starfei, the staff, starfei of Moses, Moe Shaul, that staff that he's carrying. Okay, it consumed the dual serpents, of course, into the one, because we're dealing here with the play of the one, and the nation that only recognize the one deity, the play of the one, and not polytheism. So it's quite a world of deception and delusion, but we have to be able to read the symbols, ladies and gentlemen. It was Confucius who said that signs and symbols rule the world. Signs and symbols rule the world, not words nor law. Okay, so the words are made up of the symbols, and they certainly rule, either for deception or for the accuracy of truth from the tree's root. Okay, so we have to put our thinking caps on. It is a work. It is a work to overcome this world. Somebody won't do work for you. We provide you the information that offers the enlightenment, and so you can get the picture. But then it is you who is to transform yourself through the alchemy of this enlightenment. Okay, it is a and if I can grab my King James, because I like that one for this particular, I'll share it with you. So stand by and give me 15 seconds. I'll be right back. Start counting. 15. See that? I made it right back. And so let's go to 1 John. I'm capping it off, but at the same time trying to give Ninja a chance to call in if she can get free. Okay, and she does such a great job of helping the ministry out here, and certainly want to accommodate her if we can get her to call in. And so say, where are we? In 1 John. If you go to 1 John and then chapter 3. Okay, and it fits with what we talked about earlier. And so here we go. Okay, so behold what manner, and I'm just going to do the King James literal, but it's conveyed in here a very important message. Behold what manner of love the Father has bestowed upon us, that we should be called the seed of the Son. Sons of God is the seed of the Son. Seed of light, in other words, right? Behold what manner of love the Father has bestowed upon us, that we may be called the seed of the Son, seed of light. Therefore the world doesn't know us, because it didn't know him. My only loved seed, that's what beloved means. My only loved seed. You're only loved if you're in Yeshua. My only loved seed. Now are we the seed of the Son. How? By operation of being in Yeshua, right? We're putting on the light. We're in the only loved seed when we are buried with him. Okay? So and it does not yet appear what we fully are to be. Not yet. But we know that when he does appear, how? By Spirit. Because he's already come back from the dead, conquered the death and his Spirit. And we know that when he shall appear, how? As Spirit. We not in physical, he crucified the flesh. It's to be despised. It's to be crucified, crushed under your feet. But we know that when he shall appear as Spirit, we will be like him. Why? Because we transformed ourselves. We alchemated to his nature. We looked up, and we will be like him, for we will see him as he is. We will see him is not, fully correct in the sense of literal, but we will know, because we will know him as he is. Know him because he is Spirit, and he dwells in you. You see? And everyone that has, so what's the bottom line? Everyone that has this hope in him, what hope? That he will come to them as Spirit. Everyone that has this hope in him purifies himself even as he is pure. Okay? Get the picture. This is a powerful expression, and that people don't get it. They're still waiting for him to come back. And don't get that the coming is of the Spirit. That's the promise. They said, okay, Kefe, what do we have to do to be saved? He says, be immersed in the waters of purification, every one of you, for the remission of your blindness. So your eyes are open, and you will receive the promise of the Holy Spirit. Okay, so it's a promise. Wow, it's a promise, but one has to continue in well doing, and to put off the things of the world. And so what does it say here? So everyone is purifying himself. Then what's the antithesis? Whoever commits blind action, sin, transgresses also the law. For the sin is the transgression of the law, blindness. is the transgression of the law, you know? And so if you could just go down and read there, you're going to see that he that committeth sin is what? He who is blind in darkness is of the adversary. It says devil, but of course we know it means adversary. It's of the adversary. Okay? And the adversary sins from the beginning, has closed his eyes from the beginning. That's what it means. The adversary is man. Isn't it man who's destroyed the world? Who's doing the damage, creating the wars, flying in the skies with all the poison coming out, coming down? Still waiting on you, Ninja. My voice is going here. What's going to take to bring? There she is. All right, we got Ninja Cat 111 online here. Ninja, the technology works.
I didn't think I was going to get to call today, and I really need to. I need this. Just hang on. Sorry, I'm trying to turn the computer on.
Okay.
Sorry, I know we're live.
Standing by.
Yeah, I'm here. Okay. How you doing?
What?
How's it going?
You tell me. Am I? No, I'm talking about. Am I giving a couple black eyes to Gondwan Gandhi Rashish over there in India? You know, the monk in a cave with the loincloth on, the guy that runs the world. I mean, I'm really, you know, giving him a red face, right?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Yes, you are.
All right.
Thank you.
Doing my job. Good to hear.
Yeah, I got most of it, but it was constant distractions today, and so I'm a little bit flustered. That's why I'm saying I really need this, and yeah, I want to show my struggle and show my devotion to Yeshua, and hopefully that will help people. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's why I really wanted to call in. And I want to talk about the letter Y, but my brain's gone all muddled. So
yeah. And give me an audio check on Ninja on a scale of 1 to 10. How's she coming in right now? Because I'm learning my technique of putting the phone up to the microphone here, so I think I'm good. But somebody give me a number check when you can. Go ahead, Ninja.
Okay. Next time I'll give Skype a go, because I think I've fixed the sound problem.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah.
All right. Shelley says you're a 10, so keep on.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the letter Y. I'm just trying to think. I should have written it down. And I'm trying to get the computer working. Anyway, we'll forget the computer.
All right.
So I'm a bit flustered. I just want to thank you for doing this. Shelley, you're doing an amazing job. And Desert, you sound wonderful. And when you were talking about why, I remembered something, a constant from my past. My surname has an I in it, and people were constantly misspelling it with a Y. And I think that might be, looking back, I think that might be instinct, like original thought is in us. We just don't know, like subconsciously. Do you think? I just thought that was interesting.
Well, we have been designed. Our psyche has been designed in a way to respond to the images. In other words, our capability and our makeup that is hiding within us is the ability to transform. So what we're needing is, in one sense, a trigger. We need to be triggered, and so that's what that's why I read the books on symbols, and then the dictionary on the mythical metaphorical aspect of our scriptures, because we're reading everything wrong. We've been taught to read the wrong way. In fact, we don't read; we just parrot what we have heard. And we cannot interpret because we've been moved to the wrong side of the brain, from the right creative side to the slave left side, and we have to be told everything. We can't figure anything out in the symbolic aspect of that. So once we begin to relate to symbols, then all of a sudden it continues to grow. It continues to expand. That's what's happened to me in this arena by doing this work. I've been studying symbols all of my life, and then and it started like with a mountain, and I said, hey, I got to climb this mountain in Central California, and then I come off the mountain with a greater vision. And so everything we do, when I was married a long time ago, and realized I wanted the spiritual truth. I didn't want to be lost in the world, and I had a classic acoustic guitar, and was playing guitar even at clubs at night. I could get free beer anytime I wanted it. Just break out my guitar in a club, and and I could have a 5 beers sitting right in a row. It's like and so I realized that it was about sacrifice, and so I took that collector's item. It was a collector's item. It was called Earthwood, and there was only like 150 copies made of it. It was a prototype made by Ernie Ball, and so I literally sold it at a pawn shop for like $150, and it was to be because I realized that everything in life is a trade-off, and so by virtue of doing things like that, then I was endowed, enlightened, and separated, baroketh, by the great Spirit of Light, Yeshua. Okay, so there's an unfolding that occurs, but it's a give and take, and take 2 steps towards Yeshua, he'll take 2 steps towards you. He's waiting for you. He's good to go, you see, but he's not going to come knocking on your door and say, hey, Ninja, by the way, I'm here. He's not going to do that. You got to knock on his door, and he will let you in. So, yeah.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Continue.
Well, that's just it. The reason I'm approaching a broadcast that nobody else I think out there is doing, by going into these different books on diction, or on symbol, or on myth. What a myth means. It's your cultural story. It's not a bad word. It doesn't mean anything false, and it's that word has been messed up as well. So we're going to core analysis here. It's not a program for entertainment. It's a program for enlightenment, and that's why there's very few listeners, because people want to be fed the papal bull and be entertained, and don't have to work at something. So for me, it's exciting. It's exciting to be engaged with all of this information. I'm just sharing it because I know that Yeshua gave me my insight, but it's shame on me if I don't share it. So I have to share it. I'm obligated. I can't be saved without trying to help save others. That's part of the give and take. You see.
I'm so glad you're able to again. It's awesome. I had a thought while you were speaking. Searching for truth all my life brought me to Yeshua, because Yeshua is truth. Like, I still didn't know what to. I don't want to say believe, but you know what I mean. And I was sitting quietly one night, and suddenly I knew, even though I didn't know to call him Yeshua at the time. I knew, I felt it. I felt incredible peace, and strength and relief just come over me, like something I'd never felt before. And is that why, like, I wasn't looking for Yeshua, I was looking for truth, like desperately looking for truth, and something better than this world. And so is that why? Is that how? Is that, like, in doing that I was actually seeking out Yeshua, and he let me know he was real. Is that,
absolutely?
yeah.
Well, certainly he's going to respond, and we're all in different situations. Now, there's a scripture that says that that we could not see him unless he was willing to reveal himself to us. You see, so we have Baskin Robbins Christianity, where you can have 600 different flavors when there's only one flavor of reality. And so see, these people are on the merry-go-round of deception in the false traditions. It says that even if somebody wanted to know him, they could not know him unless he was willing to reveal himself. So he's revealing himself to you, in particular, through the broadcast. So you had a desire, and you expressed it, and as perhaps like an act of desperation, for feeling so bad at one time, and then ultimately, like the old axiom is, look out for what you ask for, because you can get it. And so it's come to you, and yet you still have to go further. In other words, I'm a supplement. What I do as a seed planter is a supplement for Yeshua. He is your seed planter. He is your tree of knowledge. So he uses us. Like, remember, I read earlier that in one of the definitions, that I am one of his extensions. I am his arm, or his fingers, or his leg, and therefore I am. Yeah, and so I can't do anything for you. You have to apply yourself to the transformation of your being. All I can do is provide the information and try to convey it in ways that could inspire. And then and at the same time, but I've always noticed in my broadcasting is that I learn right there on the broadcast something I didn't know before. I see something for the first time. So while I'm seed planting in others, I'm having seeds planted within me that continue to help me on the journey. Wow. Yeah. And where he said that, where when he who has given much to, he requires much, and so he's given me a super download, and and therefore I have a real obligation to share and to serve, because shame on me if I don't, and I know the result. When the master came and said, okay, I gave you 10 talents, and what'd you do with them? And then he gave the one guy 1 talent, and he buried it under the dirt. So he gave me a talent, and talent means what you're able to do with that knowledge, and so therefore I'm sharing it. At the same time, I'm seeking that fulfillment in Yeshua as well. Okay, and so the as people are gathering here, in this arena, then the force of that light gets magnified, and then great things begin to really happen for others, including myself, which is I'm in a great anticipation of a deeper relationship with Yeshua than what I've had in my up and down life. That has been very challenging to overcome. What my parents did or did not do for me. That's been a major challenge for me, and I had to learn from the worst possible extreme. A full ignorance, and introversion, introvert. You'd find it hard to think that I was an introvert, but I could be in a crowd at 20 years old, and I couldn't talk to anybody, in a crowd. I was alone in my mind.
I can relate to that completely. Yeah. I just want to say, sorry, I'm wordless. it's amazing. It's just amazing how far you've come and that you're able to get this information out. Even through all the distractions today, I could feel it. It's very powerful. That's why I force myself to get into the chat, even when I don't want to. Like last time when I called, even when I didn't feel like I was worthy, I still forced myself to get into the chat, and it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really grateful, and I'm really happy for you that you're finally transforming, and getting miracles.
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Well, it's we're trying to overcome a world that is illusion, and so staying in those stories, all those stories of the ancient, in the 5 books, all of that, Genesis and the Exodus, because those stories were there to show us the great power of Yahweh, and therefore there's nothing he can't do. Nothing. What the problem is within us and in our thinking, and so to conquer the self, to conquer the fear, to conquer the illusion. This is really what we have to do. Just the way that people see, and so we're coming at it, from the position of there's something we need. Again, you remember when I talked about the garden, and when we come into the world, we're naked, and we're the only creation that has to put something on, because all other nature comes ready to go. They got feathers or fur, right, or scales or whatever. But we have to make something and cover ourselves, and it's the symbolism to show that when we come into the world, we're lacking something, and there's something greater that we have to put on, and it has nothing to do with clothing. It is about the spirit. We have to put on the spirit. Yeah. So this is the race. This is the thing that we have to know. And it said to make our petition before Him, and be consistent with it, and continue. And so that's the race, because what they're doing in religion is instant salvation. Oh, you got it. You don't worry about it. It's all right. You're done. Oh, okay. And yet. And they go on still living, like people of the world. Actually, I always thought good sinners were better than good hypocrites, and because the irony of people that get the religion, but then they still do all the things that other people do and say the stupid things that other people say. They're no different now. They're just screwed up on religion. So sinners are worthy of more respect very often. So it's a crazy world.
Well, thank you. So you wow me, and I end up with no words. I'm watching the door. This is my new break, where it's only for about an hour, and it's a new lady, and Mum doesn't really like her. And they don't go anywhere. They're still in the house. So that's one thing I have to deal with in this world. Trying to make this new break like a break instead of being more stressful. I can hear them outside the door. Mm-hmm. And I ask them not to interrupt me while I make a phone call. So,
wonderful. All right. Well, that's that. No, that was a break you needed. That's one more, and I know you've got a major hurdle to overcome over there. So again, that's why capitalize on that to bring you closer to Yeshua, and that's where you do, and get alone in your closet and continue to give thanks for everything, even persecution, all those things. We give thanks because it's a teacher for us that separates us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for your guidance. It's really appreciated.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I should go because I keep watching the door, and
Oh, right.
yeah, I want to be able to focus completely on this conversation. And
Okay, well, Ninja, be well, and that was a good program today, and an interesting hologram. That was the all-time classic hologram. I think
they're getting good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They almost they can now convince people there really are wormholes. That's really what they're doing with that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You like when you know the lies, what the lies are, you can see it. Like I've seen them leading up to it, like with that hologram of the Stardate. Mm-hmm. And there was another one of what people were calling the throne in the sun. It looked like a little throne sitting atop a ring around the sun, and it was a similar hologram to the Stargate one. And so they've been leading up to it, and yeah, I could go on as
Mm-hmm.
the last few months, and I hope we can get more people to see through the lies and come here and come here to the truth.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's hope that's the case. I would be motivated. I'm very motivated just for the small group we have, because I know everybody's life is important, and so some people are getting it, and it's a rare thing, and but certainly I'm sure some more people will come in and will be able to see and read it for themselves. Okay, that's and so you can create light for the others, of course, and that others would be able to come in that need it. There's a lot of suffering out there, and what people, I think, need more than anything, of course, is the real truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And so it's been a lifetime of discovery, and I'm astounded at things that I had just discovered in the last 5 or 6 years. I talked about earlier today on your program, and that totally blew me away. About the Aryan thing, and this origin, the mystery of how we got here. We've just been lied to, and so it's beautiful when it finally unfolds, and we can.
It was amazing the way you described that on the program. Yeah, sorry to interrupt.
It's all right. Yeah, I was ad-libbing there. I was just on a roll for. I was inspired, and so it's always the challenge of having to. To express it in another way, because to be able to express it so people can get it is the real challenge. How do you just drop a few words, and you expect they're going to get it? They really don't. They'll think you're crazy, but then, so you have to put enough on the table so they can get it. And that's what I felt like I may have done. I felt I really did a good presentation on that this morning.
You did. Okay. And so I'm agreeing with you, so that people will come back, because the attention span of the majority of this world is extremely short, and if they don't sort of get that seed planted pretty much immediately, they can go away and not come back. So thank you. It was amazing.
All right. And so, okay, then we'll look for you on Wednesday at about 10 a.m. Eastern Time on the Forbidden History Chronicles. And there's Take the Old Devil, and thank you for stopping by, Teresa. Okay, so I guess she's been listening all along. Just joined the chat here. So, okay, so. Love the colors, boy. Shelley's got some beautiful colors with this owl, and Forbidden History Live, this beautiful green with the blue. She's got good talent here. I can't get over it.
I love that picture. I love all the pictures that have been put up. They're amazing.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to start getting some hints and tips off engineer.
That's right. So anyway, I'm grateful for the backup I have. It's nice not to be alone at this, and and it really frees me up so I can do what I do, and I enjoyed doing the production, but it was, anyway, with the the sabotage, with the stuff being sabotage, it's hard to want to create something and then somebody, continually throws a wrench at you. It's really frustrating. So.
So now you don't have to worry about all the technical stuff.
Yeah.
You can just do what you do best.
Absolutely.
Share with us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Yeah,
then be well.
I'm gonna go.
Be well, and
All
thank
right.
you, Ninja. Peace and love.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Peace and love. Love
Bye.
you guys in the chat.
Thank you.
Thank you, family.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
All right, that was Ninja Cat 111, and so so there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I guess we've done enough damage for the beast system, and these people are. I can't get over what they think they're going to get in the next world. You know, that they work overtime to destroy life and innocent people, lives, precious lives. You know, and don't they know that there is some type of retribution that obviously will happen? The natural law is in full effect. You know, so the party must be great. The drugs are really got to be really good. You know, it's something. And certainly power. Power is the ultimate drug, I think, beyond the funny money. You know, the power is the ultimate drug, and so we're you know, going to have to make the best of our dirty, rotten, stinking world, and ask for the grace of the Father to shine for us, and to find our fulfillment, and do it through the Yochelleg, through the words that come to us. Okay, so anybody has a dealing with anything, you're certainly welcome to call anytime, and but certainly love to take it on the program, because when we can talk about an issue, then everybody can benefit from it when we do it on the broadcast. So looking to have people call in and to help you on your journey. Okay, so thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for our engineer, Shelly G. And thank you to Love and Lynn and Ninja and everybody. Teresa, thank you. Okay, and we'll look for you on Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and then with Forbidden History Live again. We'll be back on. Well, we may be back on tomorrow night. If we're hoping for Shannon in DC to ramp up, but it may be tomorrow night with Forbidden History Live again. Okay, so stay tuned, and we'll see, because we do Friday at 9 p.m., and then Sundays here at 8 p.m. So we'll see tomorrow what transpires. Okay, and certainly I need your creation of light as well. We're surrounded by a criminal clique that literally hates this ministry, and we are open to save it and take it south of the border and get ramped up again. Okay, so thank you, and let there be light, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dezert-Owl, thanking you for tuning in and telling you, don't forget, if you want to know the future, just look for the Forbidden History, because it's all right here. Thank you, everyone. Peace and love. We'll see you.